Hey, this is Rohan from Ten Hill Studio, and welcome back to our podcast. So today we have a really special guest, Mr. Divyush from Sorta Club. I know that we've been kind of slacking a little bit with the podcast and stuff, but hopefully we can get back on track on some more regular episodes and stuff. So Divyush, why don't we start with just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, firstly, Rohan, it's a pleasure to be out here, right? It's like one of the dream comes true because I have been a banker, for the bad part of my life, and post that I shifted to starting Sorta Club, and right now the entire concept is being the first of hustlewear brand, and it's a unisex luxury lifestyle brand. So the entire concept was not to just stick to apparel or something like that. It should be diversified to different products in which people can relate to the entire idea of what we are trying to build.
Right. So I think take us back a little bit. Like, how did you come up with the idea for Sorta Club?
So I was like actually always the person who was very particular about the clothes and the accessories that I was wearing. So my favorite brand was Tommy Hilfiger, but
Okay.
yeah. So uh,
Interesting.
the problem with Tommy Hilfiger was that the designs were amazing, but the price point was a little too high. So when I was going to the store, I wanted top quality designs, top quality fabric, top quality design, but at a price point that would be affordable to people like us.
Right.
So from that, it was like let's start a brand that's as classy as Tommy Hilfiger, but we are first of its kind in everything we do. So
Right.
the printing tech that we are working upon, and the kind of perfumes that we have created, all of them has a very very different approach towards the entire product.
Right.
So that was the entire concept, and plus, while I was starting and when I was venturing out ideas, then I realized that the market is already herded. There are a lot of people who are doing crazy work, but the problem is that they are at the rat race. So I don't want to enter that rat race. I want to create some different identity.
Right. So talking about identity, from what I've noticed, Sorta Club has a very specific aesthetic and identity, and that the way I visualize it is that if we had to put Sorta Club in like any kind of pop-up setting, like it would definitely differentiate itself from its other pop-up stalls and
Absolutely.
stuff. So my question is, what inspired the design and aesthetic of this brand?
So I was like, I want to create a classic brand, and a classic brand should have a classic, brand palette, a color palette. So black and white is everyone's favorite. It's basically the representation of the person. Many people like to wear black, many people like to wear white, and it's a very niche.
Yeah.
And red is the entire concept of Sorta, that dare to be different, dare to stand out.
Bold,
So
kind
yeah,
of. Yeah,
be
yeah.
very bold when you're wearing
Yeah.
red.
Makes sense. So, talking about some of the trends in the streetwear industry, like how do you stay on top of trends while still being, like you said, a classic brand?
So my approach towards this was, I was researching on a lot of other brands that were doing great stuff and I was taking parts from them. So for example, the winter collection that we designed for t-shirts, that had a Korean oversized fit.
Okay.
It had the moon patch, the yoke of a Burberry T-shirt,
Right.
and the neck was inspired by Palm Angels. So
Right.
I tend to bring all the three bests into one T-shirt
Right.
and create the bestest. So that was the
Okay.
entire concept.
Right. That's cool. That makes sense. So, obviously, like you're still in an early stage in the startup journey. So, can you tell us about some of the challenges you faced while launching and growing Sorta Club?
So majorly, there were three major challenges that I faced, and I'm sure even you faced, like we had discussed.
Right.
So firstly, it's like people don't want to work with a low MOQ, and right now, when you are just starting up, you don't have that confidence that what you're trying to create, it's actually going to sell, because there's a lot of permutation combinations you have to learn, and then you can create the perfect product, that's sellable.
Right.
So low MOQ people are not interested in working on low MOQs.
Right.
Second,
I mean, yeah.
yeah. Second is that that while you'll be approaching a lot of manufacturers, these people are not willing to experiment. So if you come up with an idea and you tell them that I want something specifically like this, most of the times they would be saying that I can't do this thing. I won't experiment with what you guys are.
Right.
If you find the right vendor in the very beginning, then it's a boom for you.
Right.
Or you can definitely approach us. Like we already have a network, and we can help you guys out.
Yeah.
Because me and Rohan, like you can definitely ask us out, and the best resources that we have, I'm sure, like the best resources that we have, we'll share it with the viewers.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And the third major challenge that that was personal according to me was that there was a lot of ideas that was there in the head, but idea is nothing, bro. The entire thing is execution.
Right.
Because like if we see, there might be a group or bunch of people who would be just sitting together and thinking, was there should be an app that delivers food from one place to another, right?
Right.
It's just in the mind. One person, two people, they came together and they were like, boss, I'll start Swiggy, in which I'll make it possible.
Right.
And that's a unicorn right now. So
Yeah.
that's the thinking that you need to have.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, there's so many ideas that come about, but like you said, execution is key. Like, and I think that's like super underrated because you might have a problem and like there might be amazing solutions that you can come up with, but if you can't execute them, like it's a whole different thing. And execution comes up, creates more problems than it solves usually, right?
Absolutely. Like
So it's-
daily.
Yeah. So it's not like, there's clear cut, like your execution will never be exactly like how you planned it as well.
Stark opposite.
Yeah.
Like daily you'd be waking up and there would be a new problem.
Like,
you need to
yeah,
solve.
you think that, okay, fine, like I've given the manufacturers maybe like the designs and stuff. Suddenly there's some problem with this, colors, then stitching.
Prints, stitching,
print,
sizing different,
sizing
defects.
difference, lot of defects in general, like, and then maybe like they showed you a sample in a certain fabric and now they've changed the fabric.
And you can't do
Which a
anything
lot
about
of
it.
people do, which is
Yeah.
quite sketchy, honestly.
This
but-
happened with me, bro. On the first production batch that I did, I created a custom fabric. Okay, so like it was a stupid act, but I put all my resources into one production, and I didn't plan my finances well.
Right.
So what this guy did, I ordered 500 kgs of fabric, okay, custom fabric, and in that 500 kgs, in between he gave me 100 kgs of some random bullshit this thing fabric. When the t-shirts were, because I couldn't check the entire batch, right? The
Yeah.
t-shirts were made, and then my clients, they told me that there's a difference in they have two t-shirts of the same design, and both the fabrics are wrong. So like I was
That is
mind
wild,
blown,
yeah.
yeah, that even this happens. And these people, they were like, I think one of the best suppliers, custom
Yeah,
made
you can't,
fabricators.
That's why, like, out here you have to have quality inspections and stuff like that. It is a very important thing.
Insanely important, man.
Yeah. So, like, obviously there are a lot of different streetwear brands that are coming up almost daily, it feels like. Like, every time you kind of look up, there seems like there's a new streetwear brand.
I
so,
swear, bro. I
at
swear,
least on
like,
Instagram, that's how I feel.
I was getting anxiety attacks after a time. Like, every day I used to wake up, I used to see a new brand doing
doing
good stuff.
cool stuff, yeah,
cool
yeah.
stuff. Like, the best thing is that like in our community, I think we respect each other's work.
Yeah,
That's why the
yeah.
competition spirit is not there. The collaborative spirit is there.
Yeah, for sure. But like when you see these brands, like, and you see Sorta Club, how do you differentiate Sorta Club from these other brands?
So, it would be not fairly correct to say that we are a streetwear brand. Because that's why I got this concept of hustle where, it's first of its kind. No one in the world is doing it because I searched Google and there's no concept called hustle wear. But right now, I was realizing this thing that, the times at which we are living into, what the attire of what you wear after you shower, like in the morning, you go to work on that. You go to client meetings on that. You go to cafes on that. You go for dinners on that. So the entire concept is that you should wear something, that represents you, not just a random piece of clothing. So all the designs, all the cuts, all the silhouette, everything, it's designed in a manner, that's a part of you. That's like a shadow, basically.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's actually, remember when I bought this hoodie from one of your pop-ups, like, I really liked the cut. I liked that it was simple, comfortable, but also had this like one metal detail that really set it apart. And I think that if when I view Sorta Club, it's about the details. It's about the print details. It's about the neck details. It's about the fit. And as someone that likes silhouettes and stuff, so I really like your stuff, honestly. Personally,
Pleasure, man.
yeah, yeah.
Pleasure. That's a big thing coming.
No, no, it's not a big thing. Um, so yeah, like we've spoken a little bit about the past and present, and let's talk a little bit about the future. What do you hope to achieve with Sorta Club in the future?
So when I was when I was just ideating the brand, then I was sure that I don't want to be an apparel brand. I want to be a lifestyle brand with the best of all the products of all the industries. So currently, if you'll see, uh, it was actually like people still think, like my closed ones still think that it was a wrong move. Including you, that we should have stuck to apparel first, and that's a right thing. That's a right thing.
Yeah, I just felt like maybe like product
Yeah,
diversification
it's
can
a
be
later
a
stage.
later stage.
Yeah. And it's I was also I was not very convinced with my decision, honestly. But I
But
was
I
like,
think it
let's
worked out
yeah,
well.
it's worked out well.
Yeah, I think I would like to say on the record that I was wrong about this, and I really do like the lifestyle product.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's just made my day. The major thing is that as a lifestyle, like what we are trying to create, it's called a hustle wear, right? So the entire concept is revolving around hustle. So all the people who are creators, all the people who are, no matter they are writers, rappers, musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, chefs, it does not matter. They just need to be a creator.
Right.
And that's the entire target audience that we are trying to cater. Because all the designs, if you see, even all these designs are somewhere representing your thought process.
Right.
And this thought process is completely for the hustlers. Like, a normal person wouldn't relate to this as much as a creator
Yeah,
would do.
oh, 100%. And just talking about a little bit of the lifestyle aspect that you mentioned, what I found while you were saying this really interesting is that, I'm wearing like a Soda Club hoodie, and I also have that
Cigarette case.
cigarette case as well. And I'm just thinking that maybe one day, like, it can literally be an entire outfit.
And that's the vision.
And like not just an outfit, but like also things that you're carrying, like maybe wallets, cigarette cases, things like that are unique, or even keychains and stuff. I can see that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Going kind of taking a segue into what you just said. My next question was, how do you plan to expand and grow Sota? Like in general, like what are your future plans to kind of expand, or how do you plan to reach more people and stuff like that?
So my vision is that not just once we are at every retail store that represents our brand in a good way in India, we will be moving abroad.
Okay.
So I just don't see it as a national brand. I see it as a homegrown Indian brand going abroad.
Okay.
And like once
So an international brand.
yeah, international, completely international, but
Okay.
from India, completely, like
Yeah.
almost gods. Once I realized in this 1.5 years to 2 years of entrepreneurship that offline presence is more important than online presence.
Of course.
Yeah,
How else are people gonna interact with the products?
absolutely. And our product completely, it's a touch and feel product.
Yeah,
We
100%.
can't sell.
You don't get the same visual of this textured print as maybe even our
Checking out,
viewers
yeah.
that are like looking at this video, because there's so much depth to like the designs
Absolutely.
that it's really tough to capture like two-dimensionally. right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're working on the patent for that too. So, once it's up, then the entire concept would be more visible, because then people will actually see what we are doing.
Right. So, like, obviously, you've spoken about your entrepreneurial journey, and it's fascinating. But do you have any tips or advice for anyone that's starting out, maybe their own fashion brand or streetwear brand?
Firstly, I think that, as like we didn't have this privilege, but firstly, go and find a mentor. I think that's the one of the most important things that you can do. It'll fast track your journey by around 2 to 3 years minimum, because these people are the people who have already done mistakes, and you can actually learn from their experiences. So first, find a person who's already done this thing. And this era is quite crazy, because if you approach anyone, then seldom there will be a person who'll say a no.
Yeah.
And like I haven't met a person who would say
Agreed.
I won't help you. So ask for help. That's the most primary thing. And once you start doing it, you'll realize that opportunities are endless. Like you'll find answers to all your questions, but you need to go and ask.
Yeah.
And secondly is that just execute it. Okay, don't over plan or overthink that this should be perfect, that should be perfect. In the first prototypes it will never be perfect, and it'll take 3 to 4 cycles to be perfect. So just start and just keep moving. Like even if it's a small step, I think just keep moving. Don't stand in a place and wait. I think that's one of the things that I learned from my mistakes.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for sure, try to get help, whether that's an online mentor or a real life mentor. And I think that's actually a very valid point, which honestly, like, I wish I had more mentors for sure. Right now, my biggest mentor is ChatGPT.
Oh my god,
Shout out, shout out,
insane tool,
OpenAI's
man.
team and stuff. So, and yeah, like execution, like we said earlier, like I think executing it is the main thing. Like you can be, there's been so many brands that have spent a year kind of trying to perfect a product, and then once they execute it, there's no market for it. So
Impossible.
what is the point? It's better to, at least this is
Improvise
my
and vanish.
advice, is that just try out a bunch of things. Definitely don't invest in too much inventory. My suggestion.
Never.
Start off with one of one custom pieces. Kind of just build like a catalog. I feel like many SKUs, and then automatically once people see the variety, I think what people fail to realize oftentimes is that you can make stuff for yourself, but it may not resonate with other people. But
Absolutely.
eventually, at some point, you are making clothes not only for yourself but also for other people, right?
Primarily for them.
Primarily for
They
other
are the
people.
ones who are giving their money.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just a hobby then or an art project.
I think a
And
brand should be bigger than you. Like it should be much bigger than you.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Firstly, you need to go and listen to people. Like when I was designing my perfume range, so I at least surveyed 600 people. I took 10 samples. I was carrying a
Wow.
pouch, yeah, and there are 10 samples, and I was asking people that what is their take, like
Mm,
when would they prefer to wear it, or is it sweet, is it spicy,
mm,
what's the tone. Then I came up with an occasion based perfume range. So all the occasions that you see, it's very apt because it's based on data. It's not
mm.
my ideology, because I could have done that easily, but then at that point of time I realized that the brand should be bigger than you.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. So, I mean, talking a little bit about, so we've discussed creativity and also business. So, how do you balance the creative side of you and the business aspect of this kind of work, essentially?
So, like, I'm a completely anti-morning person, right? My mind does not function in the morning, absolutely. So, I've kept it very clear that the first half, the boring part of the day would be for the boring jobs. And the second half of the day would be for all the interesting jobs. So, the second half is generally, after sunset, I take all the creative part.
Okay.
And before sunset, I generally keep all the boring banking works or sales work or all the works that I don't like
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
And at the night, I keep all the important, like the primarily the documentations or something like that, and the creative part into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So that has made my life easier. And plus, I think even you would agree to a hell lot, okay, that your personal, when you're going home, don't work, because your mind needs that rest, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm sure that even you must have done it in the past, that you are working
Yeah,
24/7.
it's like when you're initially starting out, you feel the need to like open up your laptop again when you go home and then keep working and working and working. But it actually doesn't do any real service, honestly, because one, usually you don't come up with anything great at
Absolutely.
home. And then two, like you just need that rest to be like, productive the next day, because 8 hours at work is anyway like enough time for you to kind of achieve what you want to achieve, as long as you're strategic about it. Like you said, doing the boring stuff in the morning, whilst they are boring stuff, they're also the most important work. So
Absolutely.
as long as you're getting rid, well, not rid, but as long as you're solving the most important problems in the morning, and kind of keep prioritizing that before you even start the creative process, is something that can be even very, like gives you a lot of liberty when you are actually creating as well, because
Absolutely.
you don't feel chained, or you don't have your mind onto this one bank thing or this finance issue or this other problem while you're creating something. You have like a blank kind of canvas, and then you are able to kind of come up with something cool. So yeah, I think that's a very valid point.
And plus, the best thing is, when uh, at the second half, when the team starts to disperse, okay, then you're sitting with yourself. So
Yeah.
that 3 to 4 hours, it's a mandate for you as a founder, because you need to sit with yourself and take decisions, right?
Right.
The team, it's there to execute it, but you need to be confident that you have taken a decision, not a right or wrong decision, but a decision,
Right.
and keep moving on that. So I think that's the best time, when no one is there at the workplace and you're just
100%.
with yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In fact, oftentimes I feel like I want to be by myself more. Uh, like I don't have my private office. Like you've seen the structure of our office is like kind of startup
It's a
vibes. Everyone
crazy
open.
cozy place. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very cozy place.
but yeah, like sometimes I really feel like there's too much happening, and you want some kind of time and space to kind of think about things. So I think the last thing is like, obviously you said that you worked a job before this as a banker, and now you're working as the founder to your own streetwear slash fashion startup. So how do you what do you enjoy most about being a founder for a fashion label?
So I think, the number one thing, while being a founder and a creative director also.
What is it? Clout?
No, 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 no. It's like meeting people like you, like meeting people, who are trying
True.
to be very different and think out of the box. So that opens your mind. So every time, it's like financially, probably we are not growing that fast, but mentally we feel the growth that we have learned a lot of things from people, and we are
Right.
still learning. Like, right at this point of time, if you ask me that do I know anything, I know bullshit. I don't know anything about the world right now, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So it's always a good, a good learning, talking to people and
Oh,
interacting with different.
100%.
Yeah.
In fact, like, I completely agree with that. Like, I feel as though I actually really like the people in our space,
Yeah.
whether it's the customers or brand owners or anyone. Like, it's like, it's such a cool community to be a part of, and I'm so
Absolutely.
grateful to be a part of it that it's not, in a way, it's like us kind of finding other people like us in a place where there are not many people like us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that part is super beautiful.
And when once two or three founders they sit together, then you realize that so many problems are getting solved just by talking to each
Talk,
other.
oh, for sure.
Like, there was this one time, I had an interaction with three founders. So we three founders, we sat on the workshop,
Hmm.
and one was doing good in Amazon, so he knew the entire sigma of how Amazon works. One was creating a hemp based energy bar,
Hmm.
and it was third me who was working with Sorta. So we sat for like 3.5 hours, and we three were strangers to each other. We didn't know anything.
Right.
So I just hosted that meeting at my workshop, and I was like, let's have a word. No, nothing related
Yeah.
to, yeah, nothing specific,
Oh,
but
dude.
let's have a
Yeah.
word. So we learned a lot. Like, there were so many things that I learned from them, and that gave me a purview that we founders, we understand each other because we are going to the same space. The struggles are real, bro. Like, it sounds very fancy getting that founders tag, but behind the scenes, it's
It's, yeah.
completely
People really do think that we have a good, easy life. Like,
lavish
honestly,
life,
yeah.
yeah. But that's
It's
not
the
true.
exact opposite.
Exact opposite. Like that,
Yeah.
daily, what you see in the foreground,
Yeah.
it's completely stark opposite at the background, because we are absolutely fucked at the background, because there are so many things as a founder you need to take care of, that
Right.
sometimes you would miss on some parts. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't be perfect on all the parts, and at this point of time you can't have a very huge team and which is taking care of all the
No, you
departments.
can't. Yeah.
So that becomes a huge challenge, but I think that's the fun, bro. Like, that's the fun, daily getting up and
Yeah.
troubleshooting things.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's very exciting. Like because the whole streetwear space or the fashion space in our kind of segment is very still new and it's growing quite fast. So there's a lot of things happening, and it seems like there are a lot of opportunities and things to do and the things that we can do. But then again, like there's prioritizing and kind of channeling your energy in the right places and stuff. So yeah, I
And being
agree.
patient.
Being patient is tough.
Yeah, man. Being patient, like I think, everyone has this thinking कि बहुत जल्दी करना है, कुछ जल्दी मचाना है, but that cannot be true, man. Like I think great things take time to build,
Oh,
and it should be
100%.
very slow. Like this is a classic thing. While the construction of the basement it takes the most time while constructing a tower.
Right.
So that process actually is the major part.
True. I agree. And I think a lot of people would agree with that as well. Like, you have to put in the time and the effort. Like, nothing really comes that easily unless you're super lucky and
You've got
that
great
luck
resources,
only,
yeah.
yeah, that luck rarely happens. Maybe like one, two, three people get that lucky. But yeah, it's fun. I'd say it's fun. I think we're really liking what we're doing.
Amazing. Like,
Yeah.
not once in this 2.5 years of my journey have I felt that, boss, I should have went
Yeah.
back. Because, while being a banker, the salary is too comforting, yeah, Rohan. Too comforting, bro. When you get that, fixed salary at the end of the month, now, all your dreams take a chase. They don't, like, you tend to just make them sleep
Right. I
because you
agree.
get too comfortable. So when I came to this part of life, things took a U-turn. But it was very interesting because every time when I went to the bed to sleep, I was very satisfied, man. As a banker, I was the most frustrated person ever, and I could see myself in like 10 years, I would have been like very, very, very unhappy. That
Human
kind of
being,
person.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and definitely I didn't want to do that. So bootstrapping it was I wanted to bootstrap it till I could,
Yeah.
till I can, but
Till I
because
can.
yeah, till I can because
And then get into funding. and
yeah,
stuff.
then get into funding because as when you put your own funds now, then you are kind of very personal. Like it's very personal
Yeah,
endeavor for
yeah,
you. Once it's a funding from anywhere, like angel investors or your family or anyone. The problem becomes that firstly
You
you
can
tend to take
feel detached.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you tend to, like, right now the passionate we are towards our idea, probably, like, might be I'm completely wrong and I want that to happen, right? But what happens is that you tend to drift apart from the idea. You're not that serious about the idea anymore. Now things take a commercial turn,
For sure.
and I just hope that I'm proven wrong, bro. I just hope I'm proven wrong.
So yeah, like it was obviously great speaking to you as it always is. And so obviously Sorta Club stocks its products at Ten Hill Studio. And you can
Exclusively.
find it at our store or website. But also tell us where we can find or where the viewers can find you, Sorta, and just plug your shit.
Perfect. So you can find our merchandise at www.sorta.club. And we are also there at Instagram by the handle @sorta.club. And you can find me, like, if there's a personal note, you can find me on my personal profile. That's by the name @Divyush. So anywhere where you want to have a doubt.
You have a profile username which is just Divyush.
Yes.
Job, hai. That's nice.
Um,
Yeah, so cool. Definitely go check out Divyush, check out Soda Club, check out Ten Hill Studio. All the links will be in the description below.
For sure.
And keep supporting us. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends so that we can gain some traction. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers real soon. So if you can get us to there, we'd really appreciate it. All right.
Definitely.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Bye.